this for now. We move on. Crazy game in Champaign last night. Illini and Hoosiers needing 2 overtimes to find a winner. Eric Gordon was on the winning side, but spent the entire game hearing ill noise from the student section. Fans not letting him forget he went back on his oral commitment to go to Illinois. Gordon said he wasn't fazed, did have 7 turnovers, though. You were there, Mariotti. What did you make of the way the fans behaved?
It was pathetic, Tony, because everybody saw this coming. This happened 15 months ago, and yet you see this ugly scene spill last night. Fans throwing beads toward where the family of Eric Gordon is sitting late in the game. Cops have to come by. You know, the vulgar chants throughout the game. At the beginning of the game, Chester Frazier, the point guard for the Illini, you know, throwing himself at Eric Gordon under the circumstances. None of this is very smart. You could have had a riot there. We've talked on this show about what happened at Oregon, UCLA, what has happened at Maryland. It's becoming a bigger problem in college basketball, Tony. You just can't have this, and I wish the people at Illinois would get over it and realize your program has kind of gone downhill. Don't blame it on Eric Gordon. Blame it on your coach, Bruce Weber, for not recruiting well after getting to the title game 3 years ago.
Can't be.
Well, what they need to do is what they did with college coaches just a few years ago in basketball. You know, after a number of ugly incidents with coaches and their behavior, there was an emergency summit meeting of college basketball coaches before the season, and they really ironed out some things. They did the exact same thing with college football because of fans off the field, riots, people tearing down goalposts and getting hurt, people throwing things at players on the field, and they had a meeting after that season and laid down some ground rules and said, let's try and stay within these parameters. The exact same thing needs to be done now with college basketball in terms of how the fans are acting. This is no way for college kids to act. It's no way for college fans to act. This is part of the whole coarsening of America thing coming into our college basketball arenas, and they need to stamp it out now.
Cowlishaw.
It's a scary situation, completely unnecessary. Tony, I originally was going to go to the University of Texas, but I changed my mind. I went to Colorado. When I went to Texas my sophomore year, they didn't boo me. It was only after I'd been in Austin a while that they started booing me when I got on campus.
Yeah.
So these things happen. Kids change their minds. I mean, but seriously, I do get scared at college football, college basketball. I'm a claustrophobic person anyway. I get fenced in these boxes.
Oh,
but
really? Okay.
When people start storming the court, storming the field, I can't believe there aren't more incidents and more serious injuries. There have been some. They don't get a lot of publicity, but I'm always scared when the fans are right there on top of people.
Okay, thank you for that very personal story, Tim Cowlishaw.
I thought that was good.
You know,
Flashkey.
Tony, I love certain things about University of Illinois. I hated this last night. It was horrendous. It was embarrassing. It was humiliating. And, you know, Cowlishaw made a good point. All these kids who were booing him and throwing things, how many times have they changed their minds? How many times was Illinois their first choice of college? Or did they change and go to Illinois after going somewhere else or thinking about something else? It's ridiculous that kids would hold other kids their same age, same maturity level accountable for the actions of kids. That's ridiculous. And furthermore, we need to have an adult in the situation, right? An adult can kind of take control of things. Well, Bruce Weber, the adult here, said the crowd was tremendous. We couldn't ask for anything more from the crowd. Bruce Weber, that's horrendous. Bruce Weber should be ashamed of himself today. He needs to call the University of Indiana and apologize for the actions of his fans to Eric Gordon and his family. Absolutely. That's what needs to be done.
Mariotti?
I mean, it's horrendous. This game was on ESPN last night, and their sideline reporter has to continually go up into the stands and do reports on what is going on. People at Illinois have to realize this is a black mark for your program, and it's a good thing there wasn't a riot there, because really, I was in the middle of that, and at times I thought it was going to become a riotous situation.
Well, how does this differ then from just having a good home court advantage, Mariotti?
Well, don't throw beads, don't throw objects, don't drop F-bombs the whole night. It was an ugly scene, and these people should be ashamed of themselves.
Blackistone.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there are ways to go about cheering on your guys and maybe harassing the other guys, but when you're using profane language and throwing things, that's way over the boundary.
All right, Cowlishaw.
You know, you can boo players, you can be clever, but like they said, the F-bombs or throwing things, don't do that. These kids are just at the University of Illinois because they couldn't get into Michigan.
Man,
Flashkey, last word.
I can barely follow that. This is supposed to be the University of Learning. Where was the teaching last night? Who was teaching these kids last night? No learning was taking place there. Terrible.
Chief Illini.
I'm shocked at that shot you just took at the University of Illinois.
Shot.
Did you apply there and not get in? Is that what happened?
Statement of fact.
You would have gotten either one.
I would have got it.
You stated the facts. You've got 0 points right now. Now the moment we've all been waiting for, break time. Buy or sell next. And coming up, Chad pleading the Cinco, Phil's shoddy shoulder scenario, and the Clemens McNamee situation approaching Johnny Cochran levels. If the channels don't flip, you must stick. Cowlishaw, what is your deal, man?
Around the Horn, presented by Nissan.
Buy or sell?
3 like-minded sports writers and public enemy #1 in Illinois buying and selling. First, if the needle don't prick, you must acquit. Roger Clemens' attorney, Rusty Hardin, threatens that we're about to see the second coming of the Duke lacrosse case. Brian McNamee's man, Earl Ward, says the Rockets' legacy will be decided by his DNA, not his ERA. Sounds like Jackie Childs there. Buy or sell? These hearings living up to the build-up, Plashke?
Well, I'm going to buy it. It looks crazy now, but the question I have for everyone here is, why would Brian McNamee lie? I just don't understand. Why would he lie? What's the motivation? There's total motivation for Roger Clemens to be lying at every step of the way. Why would Brian McNamee lie? I just don't get this. The whole thing's confusing to me.
Cowlishaw?
Well, I've been saying that all along, Bill. I mean, why is he telling the truth about Andy Pettitte and lying about Roger Clemens? I don't know about this evidence. I don't know what that crushed beer can was doing laying there. I don't know what sort of evidence that was. But I'm buying it living up to the hype. I think everybody wants to see what Roger says next week. I mean, he's taking a very defiant stance, not a middle-of-the-road thing at all. So this
Mariotti.
is
I mean, beer cans, blood, syringes, this should be in the Springer Show reality, and it will live up to it because of all of this. And on top of it, at least we're going to have some realism when Andy Pettitte comes into play here. I think Andy Pettitte's going to become the deciding factor in what happens in this match.
Blackstone.
Oh, I'm buying this. This is beyond a hearing now. This is almost a trial. McNamee versus Clemens. The evidence is there. DNA is incontrovertible evidence, as we've learned. And remember, Monica Lewinsky, the blue dress, the president's remains on there, and half a year later, that was delivered to prosecutors, and that resulted in the hearing and the impeachment hearing.
Okay, but DNA may be in the O.J. Simpson case. How did that work out for you, Kevin Blackstone?
Not so good.
Well, not so good.
All right, so we move on. Next, Chill's shoddy shoulder situation. It's like spaghetti in there. The Red Sox team doctor's recommending rest and rehab. His own personal doctor, though, says if he does that, he'll never pitch again. He needs surgery. What should it be for the 41-year-old Schilling, Tim Cowlishaw?
I think it should be surgery. I think they should be very careful and try to have this guy ready to go at the end of the year. They have enough to get to the playoffs. They are so deep everywhere now, really. But they have young pitchers coming up to support Beckett and Daisuke and the rest. That, you know, they can be careful with this guy. Don't rush him and don't think you've got to start, beating the Yankees.
Mariotti.
I agree. He's all about the postseason, and why rush it? And he should be listening to them. Remember, they extended for him, reality, right after the season ended. He wanted that deal. They gave it to him. Now they got to work together, get him ready for October. And as Tim said, they are deep enough in that rotation.
Blackstone.
This is a guy that got the curse off of Boston, the bloody sock, the stitched-up tendon. They should let Curt Schilling do whatever he needs to do to get his body ready.
Plashke.
Kurt's got to do whatever he needs to do, because I guarantee you, if the club had the option, he had to dump somebody like that, they would. He has to protect himself. Do what you need to do, Kurt.
Well, he's getting $8 million as well to protect himself, so we'll see what happens. Next, how about this for headline? Chad Johnson mutes self. While Pro Bowling in Hawaii, he blew off a mandatory talk session with reporters and remains mum today, even though he's facing a fine from the league. This from the man who yapped nonstop for the last 3 weeks about a trade. You buying his strategy here, Jay Mariotti?
No, he's out of control, Real. You can't be shoving around media representatives. If he wants a trade from Cincinnati, go behind the scenes and do it there. People love this guy. He's a great player, and if he's not careful, his antics are going to be so out of control, they're going to overwhelm his greatness on the field.
It's time for Ocho Cinco to plead the Cinco. Zip it.
Yeah.
He's ruining himself right now. And what team is going to bring him in with this kind of an attitude? He's almost turned into a T.O.
Plashke.
Randy Moss showed us that you could be a great and flamboyant wide receiver and still be a great team player. So Johnson needs to learn from that. The Pro Bowl needs to send him home, and the Cincinnati Bengals need to send him out.
Oh, Cowlishaw.
I agree. I mean, when T.O. did it in a very public thing in Philadelphia, it didn't work. It took a year later to, privately, quietly get moved to Dallas. You don't do these things publicly. They always blow up in your face.
All right. You don't do it publicly. It was all about you today, Tim Cowlishaw. You did it very publicly. You told us about your safety schools, getting into college. You told us about what you wouldn't do for the University of Illinois. Have any last words now?
I think I got to go tell my daughter to take Illinois off her list.
All of us.
That's it for Cowlishaw.